Podcast, where we strive to bring you open, honest, authentic conversation. We are Josie and Miss Andi over here. And today we're going to talk about Andi and get into her and how she ticks. Stay for the whole show because she's got some great advice and she is wise, you guys. So wise beyond words. That is why I connect with her so well. So I'm very excited to be interviewing Andi.
Hi.
Hi, Andi. Okay, let's just start off with kind of give us a background of where you come from.
Yeah, so I grew up in Bismarck. I've pretty much lived in Bismarck my whole life. Other cities here and there in the state of North Dakota. So I was lucky enough to spend 3 summers in Medora, North Dakota, working for the Theodore Roosevelt Medora Foundation. So my piece of my heart is definitely in Medora and the Badlands. I lived in Fargo for a few years, Grand Forks briefly, Jamestown for a few years. But Bismarck is my home. And it's funny because I think, I don't know, it just seems like a lot of people that I know that I grew up with really wanted to leave Bismarck. That was a thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not staying here. And, I love Bismarck. I love living here. It's such an amazing community with so much to offer. So as much as I really wanted to leave when I was young, I'm very thankful that life kept me here.
Yes. For a reason, probably, right?
Probably for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be in Bismarck. Now, does my heart also belong in Arizona? Yes. I love the dry heat. Yeah. I love the heat. I love the dry heat. I love the rock. There's so many things I love about Arizona. So hopefully a piece of my heart will remain here while I travel to Arizona at some point, live there half a year. That's a goal.
Yeah,
It's not a long-term goal. It's a short-term goal.
It's going to happen soon.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Going to happen
soon. Right.
Yes.
But I do love Bismarck. I love North Dakota.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like we connect really well because we like to travel, both of us. And it's like, wait, tell me your favorite things.
Yeah.
And, I always like to hear about your trips coming back from Arizona because you try all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Geographically and culturally and all the things. Like, you kind of, dove right in. So
yeah.
I can see that has a place in your heart.
It does.
For sure. Lots of travel around North Dakota. I did not realize that. I didn't realize you lived in so many different communities in town or in the state.
Yeah.
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 Did you ever cross state lines or not?
No, I've never lived outside of the state. No. Traveled a lot outside of the state, but no, I've never lived outside of North Dakota. And again, that used to maybe bother me a little bit. Now, it doesn't bother me one bit. Such an amazing state. Now, there are cities that I would never live in again that I lived in.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I won't say them.
We won't go there.
Leave it as that. Bismarck is by far my favorite of every city in North Dakota.
Nice.
But we do have a really great state.
Mm-hmm. We do.
We really do.
Our summers here are the best. It's really tough to beat the summers, weather and activity wise. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think our attitudes change in the summer here.
Yeah.
Where it is kind of a 4-day work week. A lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people do a 4-day work week during the summer, or at least short days on Friday because they know we have 8 months of winter. So
absolutely. And as well, we should. I think everyone, I saw actually a couple posts this last week. This last couple weeks have been just amazing. Every year it seems like September becomes more part of summer than June is. Mm-hmm. June is cold and rainy a lot of times. And September is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. We've had such an amazing September. But I've seen a lot of posts on social media of people saying, enjoying the last bits of summer. And as well, we should.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Because our attitudes do change.
They do.
Yeah. We're much happier in the summer.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, there's so many.
I know.
So many things to go into there.
I know. we'll leave that for
changes,
another day.
Yeah, we'll leave that for another day. But I do think the seasons remind us of real life. So like we have seasons here in the Midwest, and I think that's really neat. Do you have a favorite season?
Oh, geez. I feel like fall is everybody's, like, kind of everybody's favorite season. But I am a summer girl.
Yeah.
I really am. Yeah. I love the heat.
Yeah.
I love to be outside. But fall is amazing. That when you can still, again, weeks like this last few where you can still get the heat during the day, but it's a smaller portion of the day. Mm-hmm. It works up to that 80 degrees.
Right.
So it's not 80 or 90 all day. It's 80 for a few hours. It slowly works up to it. It slowly goes back. And then you're hitting, 50, 60 in at night. Yes, those days are nice. Just perfect.
I know. Sweater weather.
Perfect.
Sweater weather.
I don't want a sweater.
I'm not ready for a sweater either.
I don't want a sweater, but yes, the fall is lovely. And again, it represents life, right? There's for sure there's a reason for things falling away.
Yeah, letting go. Yeah, I was just going to ask what fall would reflect on in real life. But yeah, it would be letting go of some stuff.
Yeah, and I try really hard to, I can find myself becoming a bit, again, I'm careful with my words, but sad.
Yeah.
Depressed. I don't get depressed, but do you know what I mean? Because I know what's coming next. So I try to just enjoy fall for what it is and try not to look to what's coming next. Because fall, there's definitely a lot of amazing things about fall.
Yeah. It's kind of, now this last winter here was different than the winter before.
Very.
So, there's that. But I find that wintertime, I really hunker down and kind of like, not that I work a lot, but I put in the time in the winter so that I can play in our summers.
Yes.
And I think that's just part of like our seasonal, like where we live too. But, I don't know. I don't know what it would be like to live in Hawaii without any seasons. And
have you been to Hawaii?
No, I haven't. It's on my list.
I know you're hopefully going.
Yes, hopefully going
soon. But I was lucky enough to travel there one time, and I remember thinking the whole time I was there how amazing it would be to have that life every day where you just get up and you just are. Mm-hmm. You don't have to think about, what am I going to wear? Mm-hmm. How many layers do I have to put on? You don't even have to look at the forecast. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's all the same. Yeah. It's just, and even, when it would rain, it's not the kind of rain that, sets you back. It rains and then you go on with life. It's just, and I understand it's probably not like that all the time. But the 9 days that I was there, it was just, it was so nice.
Yeah.
You didn't have to think about it.
Right. And then I wonder if you would miss it. Miss the change of seasons. I don't know. It'd be tough. I'd have to live there for a long time before I would miss winter. But,
yes. Yeah. So many people love the change of seasons.
Yeah.
And it is nice.
Yes.
But sure. I could be fine without winter.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
One good snow around Christmas time and then it could be done.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's talk about what is something that we might not know about you.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. That's maybe seasons of life is another thing, because, you and I know each other in this season of life.
Yes.
So, you may not know that I was a ballerina when I was younger.
I did not know that.
I use that term loosely.
That's fine.
Very
That's awesome.
loosely.
I'm picturing a little blonde, little white, smiling girl.
Yeah, I was in ballet. That's probably a better way to phrase it than an actual ballerina. I took ballet from Connie Kuntz. If you're from Bismarck, you know that Connie was a pioneer in the ballet world in Bismarck. Okay. And she was a tough cookie, but I thrived, in that type of an environment with her. So I loved that. But it wasn't, we talked about this earlier. I was average at a lot of things. I was good at ballet, but I wasn't, I was never going to be a ballerina.
Got it. Yeah.
I just wasn't. And, but I enjoyed it. And I had some friends that did it. And actually I went to, Peace Garden camp. Was International Peace Garden.
Okay.
Is that what it's called? International. Anyway, I went to camp at the Peace Gardens for ballet. Okay. And I had just mentioned that to somebody not long ago because she said their child was going to band camp up there, which is the most, I think a lot of people know that they have a band camp, but they also offer other things. Like when we were there for ballet, for dance, there was guitar and there was piano and there was orchestra and there was, so there's other things there too. But I was lucky enough to be able to go 3 summers and work on my dance skills. But that's probably something that most people don't know.
And just because we've had conversations before, and I think some things that you had touched on are really important for our listeners to hear, is how has creativity changed throughout your years? Yeah. And where do you see that creativeness going from here on out?
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit ago. So, I was 20 when my first son was born, and I felt like and through no one's fault but my own, I feel like I stopped some of the things that I had done previous to that, to his birth. I had stopped doing some of those creative things, so to focus on a new chapter in life. And so for many years, I don't think creativity was a part of my life at all. And that's probably not true. I mean, I think creativity
comes in a lot of forms.
Different, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But I had spoken that aloud to somebody at some point. I said, I'm not creative at all. And she said, you created Karma Vita. And that was an eye-opener for me because I thought, there's different forms of creativity. Because I didn't think of that as a creative outlet. I thought of it as a necessity and a need, to have a place to work.
Yeah.
and to create, to have a space for others to work, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. So since somebody said that to me, my outlook on creativity has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel like I just always thought of creativity as, writing and art and music but I never thought of it as even something like what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm.
It is very creative.
Right.
Conversation, communication like that is as well. And
right.
Yeah.
Right. And outreach. And creating connections and so and even just like literally creating a podcast. Mm-hmm. That is, it's
in the term.
It's exactly, it's in the phrasing. Yeah. So I think it has definitely changed for me over the years because like my vision of it or what I thought of was creative has changed.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about that with our logo. We liked the way it looked. We didn't create it.
We helped create it.
Yeah. Who?
Amy,
thank you. Amy created that for us, but we were like, it needs to look right. We knew that. We wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing. The names needed to be, creative. So yeah, we definitely use it.
The colors.
The colors were important.
Very important. The fonts.
We want to wear this,
Right.
We want to definitely, and we have style. Even though we say we don't, we do have style. We're trying.
I really try.
It is a creative outlet for me anyway.
Yes.
What we wear, but
right.
It can tell us where we're at sometimes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you decided to open up Karma Vita, can you tell me some of the thoughts that were going through your mind on why that was so important that you do that?
Well, and I try not to dwell on that time, but it's a part of the story, right?
It is.
I worked at Spa de Athena, as did a few other women that I was lucky enough to be able to bring to Karma Vita too. But we worked at Spa de Athena. It very abruptly closed. So out of necessity, somebody had to Well, we didn't have to, but we had I specifically remember having a conversation like, what are you going to do? I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. Nobody, it blindsided us to a point. We knew things were bad. We didn't know that they were close the doors in 2 weeks bad, So anyway, once there was a few of us that were like, we'd like to stick together. I went to my bank and asked for some help, and so, just Karma Vita was born out of necessity. I always think that that's different than anybody else starting a business, but I don't know that it is.
I feel like I can relate to you on that, a lot on
right.
the necessity piece. A little bit different in my story, but yeah, like I get
right.
that.
It was born out of necessity.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's
not like super sexy.
It's
what
not.
it is.
That's why I love when people are like, when we talk about being honest entrepreneurs, I don't relate to the word entrepreneur. I don't relate to it. It's not in my background. It's not, I don't really feel like it is a definition for me. But I suppose I am, right?
Yeah.
But I created a business. I was fortunate enough to have an amazing group of women that we all wanted to work together and stay together. And so, that's how Karma Vita was born. And to watch what it has become, very different than what it was when it was born, right? And so I've learned a lot along the way, and again, I've been so fortunate to have the amazing women that have been a part of it. There's been a few men too, and they were great too.
Oh, I'm sure.
But the women are the heart of Karma Vita, and I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
I could say it 1,000 times. I say it to myself every day.
You say it to me every time I'm with you.
I do.
You do.
And not to say that I haven't worked hard for it.
Yeah.
And not to say that there isn't more work to be done.
Right.
But gosh, I'm very fortunate.
Well, and Andi, I definitely don't want to miss this opportunity to say, like, kudos to you, and that they saw, the people that are asking you what to do, it wasn't because you're just another person that they asked everybody what to do. They found you as a leader right away, And I don't know if that had anything to do with the role that you had at Spa de Athena, or if it was just your role as who they saw you as. But, I mean, that's saying something like, hey, we want you to lead us. Like, what can we do? And you figured it out.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's huge.
And I've said it to the women involved over the years is like, thank you for trusting me. They may not have had a choice. They might have been like, whatever, we don't have a choice. But, and they were, it was me trusting them too.
Right. 100%.
There was a lot of trust involved.
Yeah.
And I'll
tell
you, we didn't come from a place of trust, because that culture of that business did not enable trust.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
So we didn't come from a place of trust. So we really built that from day one at Karma Vita, and now that's part of our culture, is that we are trusting of each other. We speak kindly of each other and to each other. We speak kindly of our guests.
Yeah.
It really does. That is my source of pride, is the fact that this group of women, they're just supportive and kind, and they just want what's best for other women.
Yeah.
And the people that come to see us, that's all they want, is just for people to be happy.
Yeah.
Come in happy, we take care of them, leave happy.
Yeah.
That's all. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's a simple concept, isn't it?
It is, but we like to complicate.
We just want to take care of people, and
that's
want everyone to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
That's
easy.
Very true. If there's something you can do for that, then awesome.
Yeah.
You're also really good about referring out and getting other people involved. Tell me about that, and how, if that just came natural to you, or if it was something that built over time.
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that necessarily. I've been lucky enough to have some great especially one great mentor. I mentioned his name earlier, Jeff Bailey. He was a manager of mine in the restaurant world, and he was my manager when I was a manager. He got me into the managing, and he was just an amazing, he was so inclusive.
Okay.
And again, that's an industry where the inclusivity isn't necessarily a thing. Like if you're a cook, you're a cook. Oh. If you're a server, you're a server. If you're a bartender, you're like, as with maybe a lot of industries, but like he had this way of seeing people for something different than what maybe their label was at the time. Okay. So he would find a cook and cross-train them in to be a host. And it would, like, everyone would lose their minds, right? Like, you're going to let that guy be a host, or you're going to let that host be a dishwasher. And, you know, like, there was it was so odd. Like, when you actually dove into it and you find out people had wanted to do other things. And, of course, what's the outcome of that? You have, not only are people personally satisfied because they're doing things that interest them, other things, right? Because we're not all pigeonholed into one specific label. Yeah. But you created a team. You did.
And everyone knew how hard the other person's job was because they had tried to do it once, right?
Right. And not only that, but let's say that Josie calls in sick. Well, Andi knows how to do Josie's job too. Yep. So we can all kick in together and do other people's jobs and work together as a team, which is much stronger than when we stand alone individually, right? Yes. So I guess if I think about it, I love to refer people out to other places because Karma Vita is a small piece of their whatever.
Their story.
Their self-care. That guest story, right. Their upkeep, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And so when we're fortunate enough to have them voice other things that they're struggling with, or I'm, again, so lucky to have a group of women, usually it is women, that I can refer out to, right? So I refer people to you for chiropractic care. Why? Not because you're my friend, but because you started as my chiropractor. We met in a networking group. I started going to you for chiropractic care. It was very good for me. Mm-hmm. Very good for me. And so that's why I refer people to you. You know, I've seen other chiropractors. Yeah. I don't refer to them because it didn't work for me. Right. My time with you worked for me. Yeah. I have a whole group of people that I can refer to. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness.
Yeah. And it's from all aspects. That's what I love about, like, once you're in this field for long enough, this entrepreneurial business world or whatever, like, you have the people that keep you healthy, right, so that you can continue to do your job. But you also have people that keep your business healthy and, keep your home running and, right, like, your car and, you know, like, it just keeps, like, your network gets bigger and bigger, and it doesn't only have to deal with your client base, right? It's like, it's so big, right? I remember when I moved to town and the guy I was working for, he's like, okay, here's a realtor, like, and I'm like, yeah, give it to, yeah. I don't know anybody, but, like, you would be a great person to run into if you were new to town, because you know who to go to, what to do. Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. And I think the best referrals, in my opinion, because I refer to people that I've never gotten anything from, and I guess if I've gotten something from them, I wouldn't even know it because I don't pay attention to those types of things, right? I've come across people who, if you refer to me, you get this, or if I refer to you, then what would I expect in return? And that's fine too. That works for a lot of people. That doesn't work for me. Yeah. So I just.
Oh, you've whatever's on your sleeve or whatever you feel like you're going to say, you're like, I don't know, I'm going to say this today.
Right. Right. Okay. Right. And at the end of the day, I think myself, like most people, we just want what's best for somebody. Yeah. So, I love that I'm again fortunate enough to know some really great people to refer to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. I don't know if you guys can hear, but Mr. Deuce is upstairs. Andi, why don't you introduce Mr. Deuce?
Oh, yeah, I have a dog. His name is Deuce. I always have to, I don't know why I need this disclaimer, but I did not name him.
Because everybody knows what you think of
well,
when you think of Deuce.
Right.
So.
Yes, however, I did have someone ask me if he was named after Deuce Bigalow, male gigolo, which he's not. He's not. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Whoever named him, I don't know why they named him Deuce. He is a black dog, so I don't know. But he's quite the character. He's a rescue. Some group of kids went and rescued some puppies, and then one, whoever had Deuce was unable to keep him. So I still think of this day. It was Thanksgiving weekend 5 years ago, and somebody posted on Facebook an acquaintance of mine that their daughter had this dog that needed to go, and it was like I was in a trance, kind of. I don't really know what happened, but I found myself driving to her house, sitting, talking about the dog, and then pretty soon I'm like walking out the door with this dog, and I'm driving home, and he's in my lap, and I'm thinking, what have I done? Which sounds very irresponsible, right?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of.
Is that how a lot of people find themselves with pets? Is like, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe that's just the way
very
you're feeling
irresponsible.
at this point.
But he was supposed to, so based on what they had said, their vets had said, and then I took him to 2 separate vets. They all thought he was going to be part min pin.
Okay.
And he is not a small dog. He's not huge, but anyway, he's got a lot of energy, and his mom doesn't always have a lot of energy, so we're an interesting
She spends
fit.
her energy at the office,
right,
or at the practice.
right.
Then,
yeah,
that's okay.
He's a good boy.
We went on some walks together. He was really good.
He's a very good.
Yeah.
If he can just slow down enough to listen, he listens very well.
Kind of like humans.
Absolutely. Kind of like every single one of us.
That's why we're here.
What are we listening to? I mean, we need to slow down and listen.
Yes, we
to
do.
Whatever it is that you
we do.
are supposed to be hearing.
What is one moment that you can think of, like, on this journey of yours where you were like, this is what I need to do? Like, it was very clear, just like, kind of not an aha moment, but one that was like, okay, we're doing this. And I'm changing some stuff. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I don't know if I have one moment like that. I feel like I'm not sure if this is a benefit or a detriment, but I really am just I go with my gut. Well, for me, it's God. I say my gut, but that's God for me. Mm-hmm. I know that's what I'm hearing, so I trust that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if something comes to my mind and it feels right, I just go. Mm-hmm. I don't spend a lot of time researching, dwelling, overthinking. I do like to sleep on things. Yeah. So a lot of times if something comes into my mind, I'll sleep on it. Yeah. And if the next day I don't give it another thought, then I don't give it another thought. Right. But if it's in my mind again the next day, then that's a go. Right. I really don't overthink things.
Yeah, you don't.
And I don't, I might jump into something, but usually not anymore. It's usually just like things unfold. Yeah. I think this will be the 3rd time we've mentioned the word flow. I'm a big flow person. Like if things don't flow, it's a no. Yeah. Did I just make up a good tagline?
That's a tagline. Next podcast episode title.
If it doesn't flow, it's a no, but it's the truth. And so I think I've gotten pretty good about just flowing with things. I've not always been that way, but life is easier if you just let it flow.
And it doesn't mean that it's not hard work sometimes. Like, you have to put the work in.
For sure.
But you kind of need to know or start feeling the difference between, like, resistance or just hard work. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which is tough. That takes time. I don't know when. I'm still figuring that out.
Well, hard work feels kind of good.
It can.
Resistance feels awful.
Yeah. It feels like tortoise, or like almost like you're in a maze and you just keep having to backtrack or cover your tracks again and then start again and start again.
Or like they say, banging your head against, like, that's what it feels like to me. It's just like banging my head against a wall, and it's, who wants that? I don't want that. No. But hard work at the end of the day feels great.
Yep, I agree. And do you think that's because of where we come from? Like, that there's some pride in that, or not even pride, but like fulfillment in that, or do you think that's just human nature?
Well, I don't remember who said this. I do remember, actually. One of my neighbors years ago said this to me. You have to have a purpose to your day.
You do. Yeah.
And you see, I always, when people are lost, it's the first thing I think of, well, besides, again, like maybe a religious aspect, like do you have a relationship with God or a higher power or whatever?
Yeah.
But my second thought is usually always like, do they have a purpose to their day? Because if you wake up every day without a purpose, of course you're lost. Mm-hmm. Of course you are. Mm-hmm. So I think when you come home after a day having fulfilled a purpose of some kind, it doesn't matter what it is.
No, it
really doesn't.
No.
And that's, I think, that there's that whole concept of like making your bed every day, which I don't make my bed every day, but I pull my covers up, right?
Yeah.
But they say if you've succeeded at getting one thing done every day, that's a good day.
Yeah.
But for me, I love coming home after a day of getting stuff done, and just feeling good about myself in that way. But I've also learned that working too hard, I've really learned not to work as hard as I used to, because that's not working to the point of exhaustion, whether it's mentally or physically. That's not good.
Right.
That's not the kind of flow that I want.
Yeah. What do you do when you have a day? Not every day is sunshine and rainbows, right? Like when you have a day that maybe didn't feel like that, like what do you do to reset and get ready for the following day?
Yeah, that's a great
because that needs to change quickly.
Yes, right.
In our line of work.
Again, I used to. And I don't know if it comes with age. I don't know. For me, it's come with age.
Okay.
When I was younger, I would have like reveled. I would have just sat in it.
Yeah.
And I would have been, not to say that I would wake up the next day ornery or cranky or whatever, but like I think there are times in life where you don't even fully understand, for me, that it was not all rainbow. Like,
oh yeah,
I just like it was just
different.
Life.
Right. Yeah.
It was just life.
Yeah.
You get, I used to get 3-4 hours of sleep. You just get up the next day and you just do it again. You don't think about it. I think had I thought about it back then, maybe some changes would have come sooner for me, but I just didn't think about it. And you're just cranking away. I had 2 kids. I had, a home and a relationship and a job and all the things that take up your day. How do you have, I don't know, I think a lot of women can understand this. Is like, you don't even have time to think about it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't think about it. Now, it is all rainbows. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't have much to complain about. And I think when you wake up every day, and it's kind of a thing now, right? But it's the truth. If you wake up every day with a heart full of gratitude,
yeah,
things just unfold again the way they're supposed to unfold. And when there is some rainy days or some things that kind of get some obstacles that get in your way, they're no big deal.
Yeah. Because you're really good at that.
Well,
but it came with time.
What are you going to do?
It came with time.
It came with some harsh lessons too.
Right.
And some bad decision making.
Yeah.
In my life.
It's so hard to make decisions when you're in that state of a little bit lower energy, or just, just like not feeling the best, and you're trying to make decisions that are going to make you feel different, and you're like, that decision still didn't do it.
Right.
Still didn't do it.
Right.
What did change it then is you changing yourself.
Right.
And then the decisions, whatever, it unfolded. You probably didn't even know what decisions you were making anymore that were making things better. It was just happening.
It just starts to happen when you decide to just be grateful for everything that you have, which includes just being able to put your feet on the ground every morning.
Yeah,
I used to wake up in the morning and my body would hurt so badly. And so now I wake up every day and just thankful that my body doesn't hurt, thankful that I've said this for the last few years. You wake up I've lost friends. I've had friends pass at ages where it's not okay that they're not here anymore, right? So you just like, how lucky am I?
Yeah.
To be 52 years old and healthy.
Yeah.
And to just be living an amazing life, and even if it weren't amazing, just to be living. And alive and have the opportunity every day to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Because, right, I think that's what a new day means is like, okay, I can do better than I did yesterday. That's all.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
better than Josie.
No.
Not
You're
better
right.
than, whoever else.
Yeah.
I could care less what other people are doing in that aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just do better than what I did yesterday.
Yeah. Right.
That's all I can do.
Right. You have a lot of grace on other people that way too. Like, I don't know, maybe she's having a bad day.
Yeah. Because I've had the bad days.
You've been there.
Because I've
You've done
been
it.
the person that did anything that you think that someone's doing to you,
Yeah.
and none of it's necessary, but all of it is understandable in my eyes. And again, you just hope that maybe they do better. And I was asking somebody one time, like, when you see something and we feel pity or we feel sad or it makes us feel, we cry or we like that poor person or that poor situation, right? And we get sad or whatever we get. And they, just pray, just say a prayer for it. And again, not everybody is that way, but like, yeah, when you come across a situation, instead of getting down on it, just pray. It's that simple.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
it's easy to have grace when you understand that grace has been given to you literally.
Literally. Probably many times.
Way too many times.
Yeah.
Way too many times. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, any final words or anything that you want to...
No, except that I'm
Share.
just so excited to be a part of Zero10 and our podcast, which came about, again, because it just flowed there.
It did. It really did. It was
really-
like one random conversation. We
Yeah.
have not been talking about it.
No.
Like,
No.
What do you think? Yes.
Yeah. And quite honestly, when we talk about this, about a network and about, other people in our community who are doing really great things, I'm so excited to be able to bring some of those people to Zero10 and hopefully bring some great content, authentic, open, honest content to people, and that maybe they find value from it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that. Thank you for your really great questions, and you were so complimentary of me. I love it.
It's easy to do. Easy to do, Andi.
It's awesome. But thank you all so much for listening to Zero10 Podcast, episode number 3. Which 3? It's our number for today. Apparently, we've talked 3 many times today. I hope you learned something today about me. And please find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, our website, which is 010retreats.com. And join us next week for, let's see, what are we talking about next week? I think next week we might talk about, gratitude is a great one.
Yeah.
And the role that it can play in your life. The changes that can come from being grateful. But we'll see. Who knows?
See.
You'll just have to tune in, and you can find us on. You can find these podcasts on 102.5 here locally.
Probably right after the polka.
Right after the polka. I saw a post on Facebook the other day, and somebody said, "What's up with the radio station 102.5? They play crappy music or something like that." And I thought, I think it's kind of fun.
Oh,
I've heard
yeah.
some fun, interesting music on there.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And now you'll find 010 there. So.
Yep, there you go. Little 010 next to the polka.
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye for now.